other bidders from bidding, and there are fines for these conduct. The bidders will be indicated upon request by me as the auctioneer, and also the rules permits vendor bids. The terms that I will use to indicate any bids I'm making on behalf of the vendor will be simply vendor bid, and by law, only I, as the auctioneer here today, can make a vendor bid. Now, most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we only have one property for you to compete here today, which means only one person will be the one assigning the contract sale. I understand you may not have the equal internet connections to where you are at the moment, whether you're on a laptop or on a tablet or your phone. I understand there may be a delay where you are, and when you type in the bids, I will give you enough time to place your bid, but I do also ask you to kindly typing out, if you're out of the competition, to give the fairness to the highest bidder or the potential purchaser here today, if that's the case when we get in towards the end, pointing end of the auction, because by law, I will be calling 3 times before I knock down the property, and then once the property has been announced sale, so I can't take any more bids. So I will be calling like so, once, twice, 3 times, and once the property is being knocked down, that will be done. So make sure your bids are placed in time. There are 2 ways for you to place it. I'm sure Ryan has told you and guides you through how you can participate here today. Is to unmute the microphone to call out the bids, just like when you're standing outside on the curbside of the streets and on-site auction, or typing the bids that you would like to place in the chat box where you have just acknowledged that you could hear me. The way for you to place your bid, however, in the chat box, please type in the registration number that you register under. For example, if you are pedal 1, this is what the pedal number means, and follow with the price that you would like to place. For example, if it's a $1 million, you can put a 1 with 6 zeros, or just simply 1 with an M. And instead of typing in the increments, for example, if we go $20,000 rise, instead of typing in plus 20K, please type in 1.02 M or 1,020,000 with another 5 zeros in the back. If I make myself clear, just make it easier for our team member behind the scenes to manage the technology to do it, to track your bids easier here today. And lastly, if we do not reach the vendor's reserve here today, only the last bidder will have the first opportunity to buy this property at our owner's reserve. So it's very important for you buyers. Doesn't matter whether I call the property on the market or reach the owner's reserve. If you want to be the one that purchasing this property, imagine yourself moving in or settle this property in the 60, 90 days time is crucial, important for you to be the highest, be the last bidder of this auction here today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again for number 3 Nash Drive in Mulgrave. What are we offering you here today is an ultimate family home. The family home offers you not only the space, but also the functionality, the size, and also the location amenities this postcode has to offer. We have a 5-bedroom plus a study with 3 bedrooms downstairs, another additional 2 upstairs, and 2 master bedrooms with walking robe and full ensuite. And plus the central bathroom with a spa bath. Like I said, it provides you the size and functionality throughout the house with timber floorboards, a few additional split systems that keep you cool in the warm months that we are going to. And also in terms of location, ladies and gentlemen, only around the corner is the Oval, the Parkland, and down Police Road. A few minutes later, will take you up to the Waverley Garden Shopping Centre. Easy access to M1, M3. I know it's a pain at the moment with the road work, but I'm sure once they're all finished, these are many, many years to come for your convenience and commuting, ladies and gentlemen. We are only minutes away from Glen, Waverley, Springvale, and Chaston Shopping Centre. For those of you investors, 664 square meters of land right here in the heart of Mulgrave. And I believe with the border opening, there are many more, and with the freedom of movement that we are getting in a few weeks' time when the international students return, the rental return that you've been banking on and we're proudly providing here in Mulgrave shall return as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I won't be holding you for any longer. This is your chance to snap up one of the best properties that's available for sale in Mulgrave at the moment, number 3 Nash Drive. Where do we see a fair and reasonable, even-handed start in your hands now? By the way, that's the cue for you to start placing a bid. 2 ways for you to do so. Call out the bids or simply type in the bids you would like to place with your pedal number. If you haven't got time to register, that's fine, ladies and gentlemen. Just simply call the listing agent, Ryan Zhu and Marc Lum, and also Jack Cal or Elvis. They are all on call at the moment, texting your details, and they are able to place your bid for you on your behalf. There we go, Richard. Welcome to you with a pedal 10, $1 million. Perfect example, perfect start. That's where we go. $1 million, I shall call $25,000 rise from this point. And $1 million with pedal 10. At pedal 10, who's going to take me to $1,025,000? And $1 million is the call now with pedal 10 holds the key. At pedal 10, $1 million, that's the lower end of the statement information. And $1 million, where do we see the next move? Another 25 will put you to the driver's seat. And $1 million is the call now. At $1 million was pedal 10. Reacher holds the key. At $1 million I have. At $1 million I call it 25,000 in the rise. At $1 million, who's going to take me to $1,025,000 now? At $1,025,000, should I call it? Call it first time. At $1 million with Richard there. At $1 million I've got it with pedal 10. Pedal 10 holds the key, ladies and gentlemen. You are the ones only staring at the screen at the moment, calling second call. At $1 million, all done, all finished, all silent now, calling $25,000 in the rise with pedal 10 grip position to start at $1 million. He's sitting behind the steering wheel. Where do we go? At $1 million, calling $25,000. I've got 21 people tuning in this morning. You're not just only coming in to see us. You are here to buy. In order to do that, we need your active participation, ladies and gentlemen. $25,000. There we go. At $1 million is the call. At $1 million, great start now. Calling third and final call. Are we done? Finished and silent? Certainly not at this level. At $1 million, and ladies and gentlemen, in the absence of your competition here today, I can move with a van door bit about rather you to determine the value. This is only a starting point. At $1 million, the pedal 10 holds the key now, ladies and gentlemen. At $1 million, there we go. The people tuning in still. For those of you that are tuning in late, we are at $1 million. The pedal 10 holds the key. At $1 million now. At $1 million now, I move the van door bid and 25 on top of $1,025,000. At $1,025,000, pedal 10, that's against you here. At $1,025,000, you'll see the spring updating really soon. At $1,025,000 against you, pedal 10. Pedal 10, run me up, call $1,050,000. At $1,025,000 bids here. At $1,025,000, there you go. The screen is updating. Elvis is doing a tremendous job to manning the technology here today. And $1,025,000 against you, opening bid up pedal 10. What do you say? Pedal 10. Yvonne is pedal 25, $1,025,000. 25 I've already got Yvonne. Right. Run me up, call $1,050,000. At $1,025,000, same opportunity, Richard. Yvonne, I've got $1,025,000 here. Another 25, take me to $1,050,000. At $1,025,000, I've got already. At $1,025,000, Yvonne, call it $1,050,000. Another 25 will put you back to the driver's seat. At $1,025,000, I've got. At $1,025,000, Yvonne, call it $1,050,000. Same opening bidder. At $1 million now is $1,025,000. Another 25 will take you back to the driver's seat. What do you say? $1,025,000 now to $1.025 million is the money. At a 125. What do you say? 25, put you back in, call $1,050,000. Thank you. That's the opening bid up. Pedal 10 still holds the key. At 25, he knows.
没事，我就等一等吧。我等到最后的时候。
I can't really hear you. I know you're talking. At $1,050,000, I've got it now with pedal 10. What do you say? I know, Yvonne, you want a number. If that makes it easier for you, at $1,050,000 to 1.05. At $1,050,000, I've got. At $1,050,000 with pedal 10. You hold the keys, sir. He knows the value. Do I let Richard have it? At $1,050,000, are we all done finishing silent? We're only starting. Yvonne, what do you say? Another 25, make it $1,075,000. At $1,050,000, I've got. At $1,050,000, with opening bid up, pedal 10 holds the key. At $1,050,000, I've got now calling first call. Yvonne, I'm calling $25,000. Maybe make it easier for me to count. I'll take 20. Take me to $1,070,000, Yvonne. At $1,060,000, $1,050,000, I've got still. At $1,050,000 with pedal 10, calling 20.70. Great bidding there. Pedal 22 is $1,070,000 now. At $1,070,000, I've got. At $1,070,000, what do I say? At $1,070,000, what do you say? Pedal 10. At a $1.07 million is the current bid against you here. At $1,070,000 to $1,090,000 or even 1.1. Your call, pedal 10. You open the bidding. I'll give you the first courtesy. There we go. Richard says no worries. 20 on top of that. $1,090,000. At a 1.09 against you, Yvonne. At $1,090,000, what do you say? Take me to 111, $1,110,000. At 1.09 million with the opening bid up with pedal 10. Pedal 22, Yvonne. 1.1, we're rolling 10s, no problem, here we go. Same courtesy offering to you, pedal 1, a pedal 10. And at 1.1, Yvonne is pedal 22, holds the key now. At 1.1 million, what do you say? At 1.1 against you, Richard. At 1.1, you're not holding the highest bid. At 1.1, that's with Yvonne. Yvonne holds the key to 1.1, calling first call. At $1,100,000 with pedal 22. 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, updated kitchen with stone bench, stainless steel, quality appliances, 4-car accommodation, double carport plus double garage. Richard, don't miss out. Another 10 will put you back at $1,100,000, 1.1 with Yvonne. I'm calling 3 times. First call at 1.1 with pedal 22 holds the key. Are we all silent now? At $1,100,000 with there, Yvonne. At 1.1 million, second call. Are we all done, finished, and silent? At $1,100,000, another 10. Yes, Richard, no problem. 111 is the bid. At $1,110,000 with the opening bid up, pedal 10 holds $1,110,000. At 111, I've got. At $1,110,000 against you, Yvonne. Yvonne, what do you say? Call it 20. At 111 is the bid. 111 is the money. At $1,110,000, there we go. That's the price on the screen. At $1,110,000, Yvonne against you. Another 10. I won't take you to 5 just yet. Make it a 10, quarter 120. At $1,110,000 is the call. Calling 10 in the rise, Yvonne. Don't place the 5 just yet. There we go to 1,120 now. At 1,120. At $1,120,000 against you, Richard. What do you say? At $1,120,000 with Yvonne, pedal 22 holds the key. At $1,120,000, I'll call it 3 times. First call. At $1,120,000 with Yvonne. At 1,120 is the bid. At pedal 22, holds the $1,120,000. Current bidding on bid $1,120,000 for the third and final time against you here, Richard. At $1,120,000, all done, finished, and silent. Now, Yvonne, I'll hold your bid there to $1,120,000. I'll consult the vendors. Won't take too long. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. $1,120,000. All I can say is we are inches close for a sale here today. If there's no more advancing, Yvonne, you have the first ride. But Richard, let me tell you, maybe the next bid will be the magic number. I'm leaving to you. Don't miss out on that little $5,000 rise. That's right, I'm quoting $5,000 if that make it easier for you. At $1 million, there we go. Yvonne bid at $1,130,000. There we go. That's the spirit. That's how you buy real estate. Richard, what do you say? At $1,130,000 with Yvonne already. With 1,130 is the call. At $1,130,000, Richard, that's how you buy real estate. You need to be bold. You need to be quick. At $1,130,000 with Yvonne holds the key now. At 1,130. At 1,130, what do you say, Richard? At $1,130,000. At $1,130,000 against you here, Richard, or anyone online. We are here at $1,130,000. Are we all done? All finished? All silent now to $1,130,000 with Yvonne. She holds the key to pedal 22. At pedal 22 to 1,130 is the call here. At $1,130,000. Best with Yvonne here. What do you say, Richard? At $1,130,000. Richard, I can't take 1,000 at this stage. Make it a 5. At $1,130,000. At 1,130, one will buy you the house. Make it a 5. At least a little bit closer. At $1,130,000, still with Yvonne here, quoting 5 as a minimum amount I will take at this stage. Richard, it's not you holding the highest bid at the moment. Yvonne is holding the key. At $1,130,000, what do you say, Richard? Call it 5. At $1,130,000, are we all done? At 1,135, there we go. That's the spirit. That's how you buy real estate. Richard, see, once not working, let's try something. Go to 1,140. At 1,135. At $1,135,000 is the current bid. At 1,135, what do you say, Richard? Against you here. At $1,135,000, calling once here. At $1,135,000. At 1,135 is the bid now against you here, Richard. What do you say? At $1,135,000, are we all done? All finished? All silent now? At $1,135,000. Second call at 1,135. Richard, are you still with us? Richard, at $1,135,000. What do you say? Another 5 to take it at 1,140. At 1,135. With Yvonne here, calling third and final opportunity at $1,135,000. Wait, that's a very expensive wait, Richard. I can wait, but for exchange, I need something in return, Richard. What's your next bid? At $1,135,000 with Yvonne here at 1,135. At 1,135 with Yvonne at $1,135,000 against you here, Richard. What do you say? I know the team is on the phone. Phonetically, I'm not sure. My only advice is
Danny, we're on the market selling.
In this market, the actual $1, $2, $3, $5,000. You see the price just turned green, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't been to the online auction, that's a signal. We are on the market and selling the 1,135. Thank you for confirming that, Mark. Richard, going back to you at $1,135,000. What I was saying before, if you're hesitating, now is time to stop the hesitation, because the extra $5,000 rise you're placing, that will be the difference whether you continue looking next Saturday, the Saturday after, disappointed again, or it's time to buy your Saturday back here at number 3 Nash Drive. We're on the market selling at 1,135 is the bid with pedal 22 Yvonne at $1,135,000. Are we all done, finished, and silent now? Richard, what do you say? At $1,135,000. at 1135 at $1,135,000. It's been 3 minutes since your last bid at 1,100,000. Actually, it's been 4 minutes now at 1 minute. Are you sure, Richard? At 1135 at $1,135,000. I'll take the one now, but just to show your strengths, the 5,000 may be the one, that may be the magic number. At 1135, I'll call it 3 times and 3 times only. Once now, at $1,135,000. Twice here, at $1,135,000. All finished and silent. Richard, last time checking, at $1,135,000. All in for number 3, Nash Drive, for the third and final opportunity. All down, all finished at $1,135,000. It's going, and it's sold. Congratulations, well bought. Yvonne, congratulations, $1,135,000 and number 3, Nash Drive, Mulgrave. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in for another successful Ray White online auction. In contact with you to complete the paperwork. And the rest of you, enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay safe.